We live? We live? We're live. Let's go. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for tonight, guys. We have an announcement of when the official release date is going to be for 0.9. It's actually official now. And now I'll even talk about some behind the scenes stuff of like some things that are kind of working and moving and all this kind of stuff as to all the different pieces of the puzzle that are coming together for this. It's cool stuff there. Very exciting. And then we're going to talk about damage stuff from last week. There's been some changes from the changes I even mentioned last week. So that whole video that I made isn't even going to be a video because there's we're making a change from some feedback from you guys, some things we were working on. So some of the things I said last week are already changing or unchanging from the changes that I said were changing. What? So many changes. Exactly, Empty Claw. And then we're going to talk about skills, specifically knowledge skills. And then we're going to talk about concentration spells and how much everybody hates them, and what we could possibly do with them in DC20 to make them better. So here we go. Yeah, I agree. I have insomnia, so you'll like what's coming. So anyway, the changes are changing. That's right. Okay, so first things first, I guess, is the release date for 0.9. I said 2 weeks last time, and I was pretty close. Because the date is less than 2 weeks from now, so I wasn't too far off with my ballpark estimate. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Curly Bolt? Okay, focus, coach. All right, sorry. So the release date for 0.9 is going to be March, as in this month. Yeah, March 17th. March 17th, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Put it on your calendars. March 17th, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's going out. Launching, right? There it is. And then, oh my gosh, like clockwork, Onyx Studios, right alongside the announcement, $50 super chat. Monthly donation. Onyx Studios, thank you. That will go into the Get DC20 Out as soon as possible fund. So appreciate that. St. Patty's Day. Is that St. Patty's Day? Birthday? Happy birthday, Rod. Let's go. Luck of the Irish. Yes, it's St. Patrick's Day. Okay. So releasing it on St. Patrick's Day. Let's go. For the Irish. Luis, you missed it. I said the date and I'm not going to say it again. So you just missed it. March 17th, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. I got you. So there's that. So it's also why I have not yet sent a Kickstarter update email out yet, because when I send the Kickstarter update, which I'll send tonight, when I sent that, I wanted to be able to say the date because I didn't want to, so I wanted to wait. So I'm 3 days late with sending it, but hopefully that's okay because I have the actual date, right? So there's that. And then what's also cool is that's also the date that the digital character creator is going to finally be released as well. So that's super exciting. It's the digital character creator. The digital character creator is 4.0.8, just for the record, right? So early bird backers from the Kickstarter. There's 9,000 of you guys, 9,543 of you guys that is going to get the access to the digital character creator. It's in the early stages. It's coming along. I'm going to showcase it. In a live stream. I don't think I can do it tonight. Maybe next week. But I'm going to showcase in a live stream, and you'll see there. The character creator. So basically, the thing with the character creator, to answer your question, Sam, the character creator is going to be literally 0.8 and like the bare bones of 0.8. Because right now, this is not being made by an entire digital development team that is full salaried, full time, and all this stuff. We don't even have a digital team. We have a team of volunteers, and there's some people that are really working hard on it, busting their butt and all that kind of stuff on it. But I don't know if this is something that I want to take on as part of like what's under the DC20 umbrella. So this is our best shot at it. And it's pretty freaking cool. I'm going to showcase it next live stream. Because we got some stuff to talk about this live stream. So we'll hold on to that, right? And then So Daryl's also asking a question. Oh, so they answer your question, Sam. So it's not going to support like level 0 right now. It's not going to support scions right now. It's literally just it's the alpha of the digital character creator, right? And it's going to be 0.8, right? So you're going to still be able to create. There's not a lot of now. It's going to be out of date once 0.9.5 drops. That's going to be some changes to how things work. 0.9.5 is going to be huge, which we'll talk about that next live stream as well. Literally next live stream. I love everything DC20. Oh, thank you, Jason. Let's go. That is that's that's also something that's been in the works. And I see you, Daryl. VTT. I don't know if it's going to really be available on the 17th, but it's going to be very, very close to the 17th on Foundry. So VTT Foundry on DC20 is going to be the keys for that's going to be released. So you have to have Foundry, because I think Foundry, if you you have to buy Foundry, which I'm not associated with. I didn't even know there was a Foundry cost until I had to buy it myself for myself. But it was like a $50 to buy Foundry. And then if you got it through the Kickstarter, you already paid for it through the Kickstarter, you get the key for free, you plug it into the Foundry, and then you're good to go, right? So yeah, it's a flat cost, no subscription. The Foundry has a pretty sweet deal. It's just one-time fee, $50 one time. Bam. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, you'll get your key sent out, you'll plug it in there, and then DC20 on there, and all future updates, etc. as well. So super cool on that. And then yeah, that's the super big update. So there's a lot going into that, right? Does that mean they won't have the updated champion cleric? Oh, it will. Oh, the digital character creator won't have it. The digital character creator is 0.8. Done. It has been awesome just to see it be able to get to the spot where it's at 0.8 right now, right? And then it's going to keep getting updated, right? And kind of like how the PDF at this point is as things get established, it's going to be faster to update. So once the app, like he's working on making the app and making the like all these coding and all this kind of stuff. Once the app's good, then you just change the words, and that's super easy to just change words from one word to another word, right? Instead of like writing code and buttons and clicking and oh my god, right? So anyway, there's that. So now let's get into those 3 updates. All right. So here's what's cooking right now. Joe M, what's up, Joe M? Lizzie was tickled pink when you recognized her. And 0.9 hype. Can't wait. Let's go. Thanks, Joe M, and thanks you, Lizzie. Jekyll Geek, what's up, dude? I just realized this upcoming April Fool's Day will be a big day for DC20. For the first month on a Tuesday. Realize April Fool's Day is the first April Fool's Day. Oh my god, it falls on a Tuesday. Whoa, you're right. Oh, I'm making a note for that. I almost said it out loud. DC April Fool's live stream. All right, I'm just gonna take a note. I'm just gonna take note of that you said that. So there's that. All right, cool. You're giving me ideas. I see. Yes, Robin. Yes. Okay. So now, so the first update, and then I'll get back. So also, I think we might have time for a Q&A. I don't know. There's 3 announcements I want to get through. 2 of the announcements I'm going to be I want you guys to vote on. And I'm literally in this live stream, y'all could shift and change the future of DC20. I do a lot of patron feedback stuff. I do a lot of, I'm going to be doing some backer feedback stuff when it comes to some of the things coming down the pipeline. So first polls go, it's just really hard to do polls through BackerKit. I wish it was easier. Anyway, so we're going to be doing a poll right here. And if, depending on how well the poll goes, we might just see something absolutely approved into 0.9.5. And if the poll's shaky, then we'll think about it, right? Also, if anybody super chats while I am talking about all of this, I will get through the super chats for sure. And the path of most resistance, late fee, also heck yeah, April Fools, SML for DC20 and crew, so mighty loud, somebody mashed left. What is SML? SML for DC Shaking my head. Shaking my head. Shaking my hell. So much love. So much love. So much love. Shaking my head. Shaking. So much love. There we go. Okay, thank you. Okay. So much love. So much love to you too, Path of Most Resistance. Appreciate you. Indeed. So let's go. Let's get right into it. So the first thing is damage and resistances. There was some feedback, and there's layers of this feedback, and I hope whenever. Oh my gosh, Double Dub, y'all like teamed up on this. Double Dub gifted 20 Dungeon Coach memberships, and Brandon from Bardic Aggravation gifted 50 Dungeon Coach memberships. Did y'all coordinate that? That's 70 gifted memberships. Oh my stars is right. That's 70 gifted memberships instantly. What? Thank you guys. Wow. That's insane. That's insane. Oh my gosh. So much green in the chat. Green in the chat. Let's go. Oh, congrats to all the people. Everybody. Liam, this mouse thing's strange, but I feel like I'd rather not have a digital character creator than one that's incomplete. I mean, yeah, ultimately I need feedback from people to be able to make it better. Because if he completes it and it's done and no one ever saw it, that's not good, right? So how this works, especially in the creation of things, it's early backers get early access to the thing. So early access is always going to be not done or incomplete in that way, right? Especially whenever it's not like a Fortune 500 company making it, you know what I'm saying? So there's that. Gotcha. Cool. And the names are still coming through. Oh my gosh. Kai Toshiro. I love that icon. What is that icon? Is that your character art? That's cool. Kai Toshiro. Welcome as a member too. Let's go. The whole chat's literally green now. So anyway, here's the first update. We're going to get into this. I'm going to pause any super chats. I will get back to it though, and I appreciate you guys. So this hopefully will give some insight into the feedback you guys give into how community led, into how much a pulse check that myself, my team have on the health of DC20 in this community, right? So last week, whenever I pitched the resistances thing, I did not see an overwhelming amount of 10s whenever y'all were talking about it. I saw a lot of 8s, saw some 7s, saw like 6, 5, saw some, so it was like my spidey sense, my game designer spidey sense. Okay. And then, so that was one. And then 2 was when we start going into the opposite of damage resistance, which is damage vulnerability. I was like, well, damage vulnerability, I gotta have my resistance 1, or I gotta have my vulnerability 1, vulnerability 2, vulnerability 3, and all that kind of stuff. I literally am having an encounter with vulnerabilities. I said this during the live stream too. I have an encounter with vulnerabilities, literally my next session, where if they take umbral damage, they have umbral vulnerability 1, umbral vulnerability 2, umbral vulnerability 3. And umbral vulnerability 5 is terrifying because if you take 1 umbral damage, you're getting rocked, right? I love that mechanically, right? Because umbral vulnerability would turn the 1, double it into a 2. Ooh, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I love that, and it has to be in the game. And I was like, wait, well, if that has to be in the game. And then Eddie was like super passionate about this too. He's like, well, if that's the way the vulnerability works, then it should work the same for resistances. We're trying to be intuitive here. Why not? I was like, yeah, you know what? And we have to have so the feedback from you guys in the live stream, the feedback from the community that's been talking on Discord and Reddit and stuff like that. My own self, when I kind of looked at the other side of that coin, was like, me talking with the team, we are reverting the change of removing resistance X. So resistance X is staying. Resistance X is staying, right? So well done there for you guys as well as being a part of that, right? So the still is changing that resistance. So we'll say for fire resistance. So before, what the change was is it was going to be fire resist 1. And if you get another fire resist 1, it just becomes fire resist half, right? They like merge together and evolve. Don't think it's as intuitive, all that kind of stuff. So I think fire resist 1, if you have another fire resist 1, then yeah, it's going to be fire resist 2. If you have fire resist another 1, it's going to be fire resist 3. Yes. And there is still fire resistance half, right? So that's being reverted back to how it is currently, but we are keeping the good change that fire resistance half still is a minimum of 1. That is still a good change. I think that's all. Everyone would agree with that. Fire resistance half is better than fire resistance 1. Just straight up, right? So Fire resistance 1 is a minimum of 1. So if you do take 1 fire damage, halve to 0.5, round it back up to 1, it's still a minimum reduction of 1, right? So there we go. And see, now I see all nothing but 10s, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I think that's a good change to walk back, and there we go, right? So resistances are awesome and great, and there we go. Oh, 11s, I see some 11s, right? Armor is still PDR half right now. Yes, armor is still PDR half, but we're going to talk about armor next week. And what I'll say right now is armor is entirely reworked. Your defenses are entirely reworked in 0.9.5, not 0.9, 0.9.5, which is probably going to release like 3 months after. It's not going to be long. It's going to be pretty close, as close as we can to 0.9. It's going to be very, very shortly after. Armor is being defenses, physical damage reduction, physical defense and mystical defense are being changed entirely. Armor and how armor works is being changed. Shields and how shields work are being changed. All I can say is, if you like the weapons system rework, when we absolutely overhauled weapons and then everyone's loves them, it's like one of the shining features of the system, customizable weapons with balanced features and properties you can pick and choose and customize. Armor is going to be sick, shields are going to be sick, and the defenses are amazing, right? So I cannot wait. Mortal, who's part of the dev team, he said, LOL, I forgot the old names for the defenses for a sec. Because we on the team internally, we've been using this new armor system for like 2 months now, or like a month and a half, 2 months now. So yeah. I literally am putting on hold my we play campaigns, my DC20 campaigns. I post to patrons. I'm not releasing that video until I talk about that, so it can be understood as to what the heck their defenses are now, right? So we'll talk about that next week. So next week's gonna be a wild live stream. Okay, we are gonna talk about I'm gonna reveal the new armor system and defense system, right? So stay tuned for that, right? And then hydration, Jack. Okay. I get so excited, talk so fast, and I get so blah, blah, blah. All right. So there's that. Now, here's the next update. Let me get caught up. Let me get caught up with super chats real quick here. I don't want to fall behind the freaking 71 new members. Dexter Morales with the cute old corgi. Corgi is my, don't get me started. I love corgis. Thank you, Dougster. Appreciate you. And then Wheeler again with $40.03. Don't forget the 3 cents. Thank you, dude. I'm very excited for the 0.9 release. Needed good news today because I took my penguin to go live on a farm. Wheeler, you bring that penguin back. For those of you who don't know, Wheeler is a penguin assassin of the community. Keep your penguins away from Wheeler. He will get them. Thank you, dude. Not thank you for the penguins. Thank you for the super chat, but not thank you for anything else that you said. Liam, how close to the defense rework to Pokemon? None. It is not related to Pokemon. I know what you're talking about, the systems. There is something on the table when it comes to spells and elemental damage types that might relate to Pokemon in that way. But don't worry. That's down the road. That's spells and monsters, right? So stay tuned to that. Stay tuned for that. All right. So now, this one now. I'm switching it back here. Okay. So I am going to give you guys a pitch for a new rule in DC20, a new way for things to work, right? And then after I make that pitch to you guys, we'll talk about it and we'll vote on it and see what y'all think. All right. And this is not going to be a video. I'm not changing the, let me see if I can, I don't even know what the buttons are anymore on that thing. I'm not going to change over here and make a video about it. We're just gonna talk about it right here. Okay. So here is this one. I'm not taking any credit for this one. This one came from the team, which is heavily connected to the community and Discord feedback and all the different places. And they came and they pitched this to me. My team pitched this to me, and I was like, you know what? That makes sense. Wow. Okay. So here is the pitch. I'm gonna pause on reading super chats, and I will come back and I'll read them after, just like I did a second ago. All right, here we go. So, knowledge skills. Everybody knows. Where's my? Actually, I have a sheet right here. Everybody knows. Okay. Oh wow, we're gonna have an old school sheet. This is a 0.0.65. I don't know. Anyway, so when it comes to this right here, right? Everybody knows about the knowledge skills, right? You got knowledge skills, right? So there's intelligence, investigation, medicine, survival, and then you have these knowledge skills, right? And then there's a side thing over here. It's like, oh yeah, 1 skill point is 2 knowledge skill points. And I think that's cool, right? I do like that. So it's once I say what the rule is, you guys can say numbers, but don't say any numbers right now. I haven't said a rule. So knowledge skills, it gets to be an easy because it is confusing. It's not straight up exactly intuitive. Genuinely, I have to make a note on the side and stuff. If you've played like D&D before, and knowledge skills get a bad rap. Now knowledge skills get a bad rap because nobody uses them. It's like this side thing, and I talk about plants, make a nature check. I talk about magic, make an arcana check. I talk about whatever. It's almost like a backstory thing. It's almost like a background, like what are you good at, what are you knowledgeable in, and all that kind of stuff. And they don't, history and all those things, they just don't get enough attention and love, right? So I wanted to give them more love by giving them more points, right? I want to give them more love and give them more points, right? And then Almuri, I agree. I use them all the time, right? So it's funny. Almuri just says, I use them at my table all the time. The next comment from the White Wolf says, I don't think I've ever used a knowledge skill. So, and Starwolf, don't worry. If you love the current knowledge system, you're gonna love this. I think, maybe, we'll see. All right, so that's the problem with knowledge skills. I think we've done a great fix to giving them some love in this way, but I don't think it's very intuitive. So here's the proposal. Instead of having arcana, history, nature, occultism, religion, instead of having them all here, we would make, say with me, we would take the knowledge skills, this subset that's worth 2 points, right? We would take the knowledge skills and turn them into trades. Blacksmithing, theater, engineering, we might add engineering as well. Arcana, nature, art, crafting something, history, nature. And guess what? Wait a second. Trades already have a 1 to 2 conversion. Wait a second. It already does the 1 to 2 conversion. It just simplifies it and goes from being this unintuitive thing that we have to write down and but that's a 1 skill. And then when you put the 1 skill in, and then you know what I'm saying? It turns them into trades, right? It turns them into trades. And so then whenever you have the skill point, you can turn it into 2 trade points, and if it's a trade, it's already there, right? So there you go. There's that. So I think that is the only downside that I see is that I want to have some spot having to do with trades. And as you can see right here on the character sheet, there's some trades right here, right? So we will have to give some love to trades on the sheet, exactly, right? So yeah, trades. What modifier does trades use? Jake asks. In the trades, it gives you options. So usually for trades, it gives you this or that, or just straight up like this. So those would probably be intelligence. So that probably won't change. But yeah, so in trades in general, though, it says which one you can do. It gives you an option, right? So you just pick your highest, right? So there we go. So now, which we get to trades now as well. So some of the dang it, I let it slip about one of the other. So yeah. So during my explanation of that rule change, let slip another rule change about trades. Yeah, so we are talking about another change, is that skills is a 1-to-2 conversion. A skill point to a trade point is a 1-to-2 conversion. In general, trades in general are just worse than skills. They come up less. It's a fact. They come up less, right? So if you don't care about trades at all, this doesn't affect you at all, right? You're fine. But if you love trades and you want to build out this and work out this and have all these different trades and you have this, blah, blah, blah. If your game master rewards all the knowledge skills and all knowledge trades, I guess I should say now, they love all the knowledge stuff and they reward that. Yeah, you get 2 points for that. So there's another sneak peek rule there. Oh, 20 out of 10. I'm seeing some 20s on that rule change. And what's so funny is, just like Mortal said, my head, I'm running, and my head is in 0.9.5 mode. And so there's this disconnect now with some of the things I'm saying of what I know is like, what? Wait, what was it? Is that a .5 thing or a regular? So there you go, right? So that's a change as well. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw out another change. One thing I'm gonna say, just to get you guys synced up. All the hardcore DC20 people are the ones that come to live streams. They check them all out and stuff like that. So I'm gonna throw another one out there. I don't need to I don't need to go crazy on this one. I'm not gonna need a poll or anything for this one because I think y'all are just gonna love this. But right now, skills in DC20. There is an issue when you have my exaggerated example. Here's my exaggerated example. A bard, an intelligence-based bard, a prime intelligence bard, level 1, so many skills. Oh my God, so many skills. Insane. You get 5 plus your intelligence, you have 8, and then bard, you get 2 more, so you have 10. You're like, oh my gosh, what on earth am I going to put? I got 10 points to spend. What? Right? Oh my gosh, I got 10 points to spend. And there's a cap of 1, right? You have a cap of 1, right? So there's a cap of 1, you got 10. So you're forced in lots of ways. You're forced in lots of ways to spread them out in some ways that you're like, okay, I guess I'll do this, you know? So then they like either dump them into knowledges or even if you're not a bard, intelligence bard, even if you're like a very one-dimensional character that you have your vision. One-dimensional is not necessarily bad. Like you have your vision. I'm a nature lover and this is what I do, right? So, okay, let's say you have 5 skill points and let's say you have 6 skill points. So you spend like, all right, athletics, nature, survival, awareness, I guess. And you get to the spot where you're like, I got these 2 leftover points. I don't really know. Let me think. Here's a new rule. Let me know what you think with numbers and stuff. Here's a new rule. There is a cap. I will never remove the cap, the level cap gatedness on these things. That has to be in the game so the level 1 character can't max it out. That's insane and ridiculous. Don't make me go on a tangent, okay? So the new rule change is expertise can be bought with skill points, okay? Expertise in the game, if you're not familiar, in DC20, expertise means you can put 1 more skill point than usual. 1 more than usual, right? 1 more than usual, right? So if you don't have any expertise, all you can do is 1. If you're a rogue, you get expertise on every single skill. So that means you can do 2 on every single skill. But rogue is a very unique thing, right? What if you're a sorcerer? What if you're a barbarian, right? So then if you can get human. If you're a human, you can pick 1 skill. You can pick 1 skill and you gain expertise in that 1 skill. Oh, okay, cool. It's a feature. It's an ancestry trait, right? Now, the new rule, I see nothing but 10s here. 10 times 10, whoa. The new rule is if you had those 2 floating skills, remember you had 6 and then you spent them all, you had those last 2, you're like, you know what? I'm a nature lover. I'm a barbarian. I'm going to use nature for an example. We'll use survival. I'm a field medic, survivalist, all that kind of stuff, right? I have these 2 remaining points. I'm going to spend 1 point. I already have 1 point in survival. I already spent 1 point in survival, right? I have 2 points left. I'm going to spend 1 point to give myself expertise in survival. And then I will spend another point to gain another skill, to fill that skill point up, right? So you have to spend a point to increase the cap to give yourself expertise, which you can only do once. You can't keep buying expertise off into infinity. Stop it. I can explain why that's bad for the game. Don't get me started. But you can buy expertise in a skill for 1 skill point. Right? That's pretty cheap. It's a pretty sweet deal. And then you can then spend that last point to fill up that bubble, right? So there you go. Right? So you could, Chad, thank you, Chad Gararty. So long story short, you could spend 3 points to increase your skills by 2 to get 2 bubbles on the sheet, right? You would spend a point to put 1 bubble in, spend a point to gain expertise, and spend a point to put the next bubble in. Exactly, right? So yeah, and yes, I saw this too. Trades work the same way. But it's easier to put expertise in them. Huzzah! You can anyone can be a history buff. Anyone can be an arcane master knowledge. It's just great, guys. I just got chills, right? That's when you know a rule's cool, is when you get chills when you talk about it. So there you go. There's that. So there's skills. Next up. Where'd it go? Oh, okay, yeah. Concentration spells. Here we go, people. I will buy expertise all the time. Heck yeah, baby. And then you can only do expertise once per skill. Exactly. And then spend 2 points to get expertise. That might be a good way to do it. I'm going to make a note about that right now. Team talk. Change the structure to where it says that you can spend 2 points to get expertise and get +1. What happens if you have 1 floating point, right? Anyway, all right. So now let me get caught up with super chats real quick. I don't want to get caught. I want to get all right. So Liam, we got a thing. All right, Zagard. It's okay. All my penguins have healing magic and +10 awareness. It's the 30 eyes. Maybe they aren't penguins. They're definitely not penguins. If that's 30 eyes, if it's 15 penguins and they have 30 eyes, they're penguins. But if it's one, if they each have 30 eyes, run, Zaggard, run. Auron Starglider, super sick name. First time super chat. You mentioned keys for Foundering being sent out for backers of VTT tier. What about Fantasy Grounds? And I use Fantasy Grounds. Fantasy Grounds, sadly, Auron, I have talked to the CEO of Fantasy Grounds, and they do not want to onboard DC20 until it's done, which honestly is understandable. It makes me sad, and I'm sure makes you sad. But they are 100% going to onboard DC20. They are all in on DC20. They have a team that they're talking about. Like it's looking good. But he has told me to reach out to him once the game is in a more finished state, which makes sense from a business perspective for him because, example, the 0.9.5 change, big change. So all the work you did into going into typing all these things out, it's going to change. So why do that work when you have to just do more work? You know what I'm saying? So they are going to wait until DC20 is further along, and then they're going to pull the trigger on it. But they have a guaranteed, we're all in. Like they're all in once the game's closer to being done. So there's that note. Thank you, Dougster. Thank you, Dougster, and thank you, Auron. Starglider. Good job. Yay, Corgi. Thanks, Corgi. Thanks, Dougster. Liam, back to trades. We can combine some. Herbalism and nature should be the same trade. Yeah, exactly. So we can start to look at something like that now. Like once this rule change happens, we'll probably just have nature and herbalism they'll both be there right now, but in the future and consolidation and cleaning up things, we can absolutely do things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like potions would be like make a nature check, right? Yeah, exactly. So you see it, Liam. All right, so now next and final rule, and then we'll see where we're at. So let me go back to the chat here. Here's the next one. Concentration. I'm gonna do a poll right here. I'm gonna do a poll. How much do you like concentration in D&D? Right? I'm gonna give we're gonna rate it on a 1 through 4 scale. Bad, 2, 3, love it. Right? And then 3 would be like, it's okay, I guess. I don't like it, but I understand why it's there. Right? There's that. So, I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay, that's fine. All right, so start the poll. So here's the poll. It's what do you think about concentration? It's bad, like you just hate the mechanic, and and then two is I don't like it, but I understand why it's there. Like you have to be able to balance things around things and multiple recurring effects and stuff. It's okay, I guess. Is like, all right, like it's fine. I'm not too worried about it. And I love it is like, oh, it's the best system ever. Yeah, there's no way it can be better, right? So Agile Monk, bro, hits with a big point. One big, huge thing with concentration and why I don't like it is it slows down the game and everybody forgets about it. It slows down the game and everybody forgets about it. How many times? Let me make those concentration checks. 1, 2, 3. like what? Right? So that's rough. And then okay. So everyone, okay. So I think honestly that poll went exactly how I thought it was going to go. Where people are like, yeah, I mean it's all right. It's all right. You know, overall it's okay, right? Not a lot on the ends of this. It's fine. It's a necessary evil, you could call it, right? So here's the deal. Here, let me. I'm gonna go back here so I can pull up the master document for concentration spells. So I always forget about it, re-rolling and having the hits and stuff like that, and then this is also another clunky example in DC20. Imagine this happens, which could happen. It absolutely could happen in DC20. This is not a long shot. You cast a spell on somebody who is concentrating, and then you make a dynamic attack save where you roll an attack and they roll a save. So you're rolling an attack, they're rolling a save. You do the whole thing, right? And then it's a concentration. So they have to stop. They already made a save. You already triggered a save to happen for the spell you cast on them or whatever, the effect you did, the swing, weapon swing, whatever. And then they have to make another save for the concentration thing. So it just feels a little bit outdated. And I think DC20 can maybe do it better. I'm not sure on this one though, guys. I'm going to be honest. I'm not 100% sure on this. I was hesitant about it. And this is why we're talking about it right now. This voting poll, whenever I do the voting poll, we're not deciding on if we do this or not. I just genuinely want to see what the community says about what I'm about to say. I have not said the rule yet. I want to see what you guys think. And based on the amount of love or hesitation or whatever, I am going to move forward with its evaluation with that kind of in the back of my mind. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the new rule. So I'm going to paint the picture of what currently is concentration. Ironside, I could see concentration spells saying something like being 5 turn without concentration, the caveat being only one. Yeah, right. So you could have spells bake in the balance of another thing, because I saw somebody said, I don't know why the concentration is necessary. If you have a spell that just lasts for a minute, that is so strong. Oh my God, that's so strong. You know what I'm saying? It's so strong. Now, DC20 is going to be doing a lot of things like repeated saves, to where like if there's an effect going on you, that you can keep making repeated saves to end it. Like that's for sure going to be a thing, right? So that's going to help some things out, right? Just the fact that you get a free repeat of your save instead of just like you're screwed until concentration ends, right? So we can intervene in that way, right? Cameron Bradford's onto something. Stay with me, Cameron. I see a lot of people are talking about concentration in these super chats, so I am going to read these right now. And it's a concentration is a way to power gate spells from being too brokenly strong, or from you doing multiple big broken strong things at the same time, right? So if you want to cast Bless, and I cast Fog Cloud, and I cast Bane, and you have all these things rolling for a minute, that's insane. The power is nuts, right? That's why you have to have something about concentration to be able to buffer and interject into that sustained things, right? That last multiple rounds, right? And then let me see, Simon, nothing worse than choosing your spells and then the game realizing you have 90% concentration spells. Exactly. I've done that. I've made a druid and I was like, what? I have 2 spells and then I have to choose one of these. Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. Double dub, rather than the resources to track or risk of dispel tracker, DC bigger, more spell. Wait, risk of a dispel on attacked, DC bigger, more spells on you. Rather than a resource to track, a risk of dispel on attacked, DC bigger, more spells on you. I don't, double dub, at me again with what, I guess I'm not, I don't see, rather than a resource to track. A risk of dispel on attacked. DC bigger, more spells on you. Oh, like the DC gets bigger the more spells on you have? I don't know. I can't process that one right there. I mean, I'm about to talk about the rules. So I don't want to Agile Monk. Consider an option for other PCs and NPCs to be able to intentionally interrupt places concentration. And so all right, so now I'm gonna stop reading super chats because Agile Monk's onto something. I saw Cameron's onto something, so I'm gonna go ahead and say here's the rule pitch, right? So the super chats distracted me. I'm sorry. I appreciate you guys. So instead of concentration being a forgettable thing that you slow down the game gets slower because you have to keep making checks and and you keep making checks on it to slow down the game. Instead, and it's the thing that we also said about how like, it's a concentration spell, you can only have one concentration spell at a time and all that kind of stuff, right? What if instead, and this is what I want to see the numbers on, and then we'll talk about it, is what if you had to spend 1 action point to sustain the effect to keep it going after you've casted a spell? So you cast the Bless spell, cost to have action points and and cost, and you have the Bless spell going. And then it's your turn. At the top of the round, top of the morning, the top of the round, you choose. Active choice. You choose to spend 1 action point or not. Do you want to keep it rolling? You want to keep it rolling? Spend an action point. You don't have to make a check for it. You don't have to make a spell check to see if you can keep it going. You just spend an action point. Hey, Bless is still rolling. Damn, chills. I see a lot of 10s. Chills. You can keep it rolling. It speeds up the game. You spend the action points. You actually literally speeds up the game. You can keep it rolling. Now maybe there's a maximum amount of rounds you can keep it going. We can implement something like that. Don't worry. I'm not worried about that. Right? It can still be a minute. Right? Up to a minute. Right? But it also solves a problem where sometimes you don't care if your concentration is going anymore. You cast Fog Cloud in this area and it's concentration. Ooh, everyone runs out of it. Ooh, I don't care anymore. And you're still concentrating on it, but you don't care anymore, whatever. So now, if you don't care about it, don't spend the 1 action point at the top of your turn, right? To do that, right? I think it's going to do a lot of cool things. It also opens up a play style of you can cast Bane and Bless at the same time. You have to spend 2 action points every turn, you know what I'm saying? But you are hindering the bad guys and aiding your allies, and you're keeping it rolling. You're holding it on. You're holding on to it, right? Super cool. You want to cast a Fog Cloud on top of that? Keep spending action points. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, right? Can only be done in DC20. So there's that. And now I'm going to do a voting poll. I'm going to do the exact same voting poll I did before, right? 1 AP sustained spells, right? 1, bad idea. I'm going to do the same exact wording on all of these. 2, I don't like it, right? It's like, I'm not sure. I guess number 2 would be, I don't like / I'm not sure, right? 3 is, I like it. Let's try it, right? And 4 is, love it, right? So there's the poll. Let me see what we got. 1 AP per spell you sustain. Yes, exactly. Path of most resistance. Yes. If you had Bless and Bane, it'd be 1 for Bless and 1 for Bane. You got it. You know what I'm saying? And then if we do this in some way, there's also going to be, let me also clarify some things here as well. There's going to also be the dazed condition. Right now in DC20 isn't really that amazing. The dazed condition, woohoo, dazed condition, ooh. The dazed condition is possibly going to be interacting with this as well, to where if you suffer the dazed condition, if you have the dazed condition, it costs an additional action point to sustain, or you can't sustain, or dazed is going to interact with the sustaining. So marshals and spellcasters and all these things, they're going to be able to mess with people that have spells to break their concentration. That still will be a thing in the game. So that's still going to be super cool way to do it. How do enemies counter these spell effects once in effect? Jason Neville, there we go. I just answered that question, Jason. I got you. You will be able to, the dazed condition will absolutely counter sustained spells. And I think that's great for the dazed condition, because right now dazed is just not really that crazy. You know what I'm saying? Spell duels. Hey, spell duels are crazy, right? What if you're last in the turn order? What does that matter? What if you're last in the turn order? If you're last in turn order, you're casting spells later anyway, so that doesn't matter, because you didn't cast the spell until later in the initiative anyway. So if you're last in initiative, nothing happened. You casted a spell, you know, and then so it's still the same. Still, that's a wash. Is there an option to break concentration? There we go. That's what I was talking about. And then overall, it's a wild, much more majority, 88% of 3s and 4s. So that's cool. That's cool. There you go. So does it work if I take damage? It's just 1 AP. How does it work if taking damage? If you take damage, you just take damage. It doesn't matter. You no longer have any sort of slow down the game of like, oh, I take damage and then that doesn't matter. You take damage. You're in the middle of battle. You're spending action points to concentrate on those spells, right? That's already paid for, right? In general, Wise asked the question, will higher cost spells have more action point cost? My answer to that initially is no. The higher, that's part of like spells a higher level, you're sustaining it. It costs an action point. You're sustaining. You paid the mana for it already for it to be a higher cost spell. But the really cool thing about that question as well is if we want to create a crazy spell that has a crazy sustain effect, but it costs you 3 action points to sustain, that's sick. That's sick. What if you created a phantom spirit extension astral projection spell where you shunt out your spirit shoots out of your body and you're able to move around and make attacks with it and all this other kind of stuff, and it costs 3 action points to keep this thing going, but you get to use your action points through it. So that probably wouldn't be how that goes. You would spend 1 action point to sustain it, and then you'd have 3 left over for yourself. But what if you were mind controlling somebody else or stunning somebody else, or I don't know, right? There could be some really cool things with upping the cost of the sustain, how much it costs to sustain, right? So yeah, game flow. Okay, cool. Success, fun. Exactly. I love it. Okay. 1 minute long spells are only too strong if you just cast them and that's it. If there was a spell that lasted 1 minute and you spent a little action, like 2 action points and a mana, 2 action points and some mana, and it's a minute long with no repercussions, that's very strong. That's very strong. It's very dangerous, especially if you cast multiple of them. It's very strong, very dangerous. So with this, they would spend the action points and the mana, but they have to not only spend an action point every single turn, right? Which it way increases the cost of the spell's actions economy wise, right? But then there's also things like dazed, which absolutely any monster can do dazed if Dungeon Master puts daze on them. So yeah, there you go. So let me see. Let me get caught up with super chats, and oh my gosh, that's all we're gonna be able to do is get caught up with super chats. All the announcements, all the updates. So then, roll with us DMs. Just finished our first DC20 campaign, Lost Mines of Phandelver. Converted to DC20, let's go. Starting a DC20 conversion of Troubles in Otari this week. Currently running another DC20 campaign of Forgotten Realms. I love it. I love that you've merged them together and just basically converted D&D to DC20. I see it. I love it. Thank you. Rock roll with us. Elijah Creech. What's up, Elijah Creech? First time super chat. Just have concern. Kunk. Just have kunk in a way where concentration. Just have concentration in a way where only certain spells break concentration, like casting another spell, being knocked prone, becoming bloody, or having enemy caster challenge it. Spell duels could be a way. Knocked prone. It's just so hard because prone's already under the gun for some other things, which stay tuned on prone. But I think dazed is a really good spot for it because other conditions now would just become more strong for these other weird ways, with some interesting interactions. I think dazed is a great spot to put it. But I think Elijah said that before I even talked about daze. So Elijah's thinking. I like the way you're thinking, Elijah. Dan, will I be able to buy my way to maxing out a single skill at the expense of all else at level 1? Absolutely not, Dan. The cap is expertise only works one time. You can only ever, in any aspect of the game, if you're a rogue, if you're a human, if you are buying expertise, you can only ever have one notch higher. I will never. I'm going to say this. I could probably talk about this longer, but we're already in overtime. I do not think it's healthy for the game, nor does it make any sense at all for a level 1 character to have plus 10 in an ability. It breaks the game mathematically. It breaks skill challenges. Absolutely. It breaks combat skill actions where you intimidate somebody and you have a plus 10 plus your prime. So you have a plus 13 at level 1 is the most broken thing I've ever thought of for DC20. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be always why I say no to that, right? So you can buy expertise, but only once. So yeah, thank you for let me clarify that, Dan. Appreciate you. I like this. Zack, I like this, but is there a way for enemies to stop you from creating something like Spirit Guardians? Yes. Spell duels could stop it outright, and if you you can daze them to try and interrupt it and break it off on them as well. And they're going to be spending action points and being less effective because they keep it rolling. So it's just inherently more balanced in that way as well. So many possibilities. Stronger spells, more AP. Staking spells possibly be balanced out by AP. Yeah. So action economy is going to be the great balancer of lots of stuff. Heck yeah. Sean Van Beverholt, appreciate you, bro. Love it. Allows you to do more at a cost, but still limits the power you can have all at once. Only concern is if a player is concentrating on 4 spells, he wants to keep them up. They don't get a turn, which feels bad. Limit needed. I don't know if there's a limit needed. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing, what Sean Van Beverholt said. It's the same thing as my little rogue that's sitting there and then opportunity attack happens. And they want to spend all their action points right now to make this attack right now. And then they kill the person that's running by them because they dumped all 4 action points into their opportunity attack. And then it comes to their turn and they have no turn. Is that person not playing the game? No, they already took their turn earlier. Are they not impacting the battlefield? No, they already killed someone that normally they would not have been able to kill. So I think a play style that I think would be pretty fun and speed up the game, and you're affecting the game in crazy ways. I want to make that character. I want to make a character and find 4 spells that I want to concentrate on, you know? Or maybe it's 3 spells and I get 1 action point per turn. I love that. I'm like blessing and baning and fog clouding that I can move around, and I have 1 action point and I shoot somebody, or I or move a little bit, or I spend an action point to move the fog cloud or something like that, right? I spend 1 action point to sustain the fog cloud and another action point to move it. Like, that's so cool, right? and you have the most efficient turns ever. You're affecting the battleground like crazy. So I don't know, man. I think that's freaking sick. Dustbreaker, how does it work if taking damage? Okay, I got you on that one. Jeremy Grimes, I have the opinion to spend 1 mana point instead of AP. See, then that's just Nova. No, it has to be action points, because that's where the balance is. You can't just keep you're juggling a concentration spell. Yeah, I spend mana. Who cares? I'm going Nova on this encounter anyway, right? You just cast all these spells and you're just spending mana. Sure, who cares? You just go Nova on this encounter. That's my concern. You know what I'm saying? It has to be action points, because that's how you're affecting the battlefield. Even just how the spell's going on, like the fact that the spell's still there and it's affecting the battlefield, action point. It's part of the action economy because you're getting a lot out of it. And then Tier Fang, idea, high level, first level feat to sustain APA per round, keeps up 2 spells. First sustain round. Oh yeah. Absolutely. There can be a concentration helper where you can sustain 1 spell for free. Whoo, that's a crazy trait. That's a crazy capstone. That's a crazy subclass. That's a crazy talent, right? Some sort of sustainability. You know what I'm saying? Skeletor. So you're saying that if I hold my initiative and never take my turn, I never have to pay the concentration tax. What? If you hold your initiative and never take my turn? Well, if you never take your turn, then you're wasting a lot of action points. So you're technically, if you never take your turn, then you're spending 4 action points to keep your concentration going, if that's the case. Because if you don't spend an action point, it ends. You know what I'm saying? So watch out for that. I see you, Skeletor. An MP enhancement that auto sustains it for X turns. That's interesting. If we want to do something like that, that's possible. Kyle Doring, I love the idea, Coach. The cultists couldn't attack because of their AP is being used. The BBG summon the player's spells a challenge. Yeah. A summoning ritual, and they have to spend action points to sustain the summon, right? Yeah, absolutely. For the cultists. I love that. Liam, rip spells lasting for a minute, LOL. I mean, it can last for a minute if you want to. Just keep it rolling, keep spinning that thing. Faith, what's up, Faith? Loving progress. I've been buried in dev work, but I have a great news to share with you soon. If you like digital tools, we were just talking about digital tools, Faith. We got some world. Ooh, can I say it? I don't know if I can say it. I don't know. Yeah, I'll stay tuned, Faith. That's cool. Digital tools. Faith is an expert at digital tools, like one of the best in the world at digital tools, I think. But that's you'll see. We got some crazy people in the chat right now, y'all. And then Sean Van Beverholt. My concern is only if it becomes a meta, it would be an incentive to take only one in. Yeah, so absolutely. But we absolutely make this change. I think we absolutely go forward with this and we play test it. Make spells, make it sustain effects and stuff, and we see what happens. And if we take this shot, we can always go back and be like, okay, fine, concentration. And we can always revert it back to concentration. Would that be lame? Sure. I hope this works. Yeah, I think it could. Yeah. But we absolutely be watching out for like negative metas involving like weird interaction loops, right? Elijah, you only have so many points, so too many actives wouldn't be possible because of the initial cost. Wait, Elijah, what'd you say? We just talked about. There's concentration only certain place. Oh, okay. So then you said you only have so many points, so too many active wouldn't be possible because of the initial cost. Yeah. True. Oh, Elijah, you're right. Because if you have, let's say you have 2 rolling, you have 2 concentration spells rolling. So at the start of your turn, you spend 2 action points to keep them rolling, and then you would spend 2 action points to start another spell. So then your next turn, you have to spend 3 action points to keep it rolling. So you wouldn't even have enough action points to cast another big spell, unless you're a sorcerer and you have a feature that makes you be able to take 1 action point off, and you quick cast it to be able to then cast it, and then. I love this. Nice call, Elijah. Fred, will we get techniques that use this version of concentration? Yeah, Fred. Thank you for saying that. Marshals absolutely can dabble with this as well. This will be a mechanic with techniques and marshals as well. Yes. I'm whirlwinding. Woof, 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 woof. Spend action points to keep whirlwinding. That's funny. Would monsters play similar like BG buff caster? Yeah. Monsters absolutely can use this mechanic as well. Absolutely. Yep. Y'all are seeing it, people. Afare Noxa. Late fee was the topic today. Afare Noxa. That late fee is a perfect transition into the giveaway. Everybody say something in the chat. What'd you miss today? You missed it all, Afari Noxa. You missed it all. The topic has just been updates. I haven't even done a Q&A apart from all the super chats. I appreciate you guys. I just announced 4 different things. The release date of DC20, a bunch of stuff having to do with skills, Resistance X coming back, and concentration. So as y'all can see, lots of stuff in the works here, people. Lots of stuff in the works. And T-Dog. Thanks, dog. Gifting 10 Dungeon Coach memberships. That brings us to 80 gifted memberships today. Thank you, guys. Thank you, T-Dog. Zack, what if I could enter a spell duel to stop someone from maintaining their spell? I absolutely think that should be. I'm going to make a note of that right now. That just absolutely, I absolutely believe that that's how it should work. Spell duel to stop concentration. Absolutely. It just that makes sense. Yeah, you could stop their concentration. Absolutely. Love that, Zach. We're synced up. So Zack Art says, so it turns out the penguin with 30 eyes was a Zack Art's dead, guys. Zack Art got killed by his 30-eyed penguin monster. It's not a penguin. Anyway, make sure I'll say something in the chat. I'm going to give away a copy of DC20 Core Rules, which automatically updates all the way to the final product of the game. Monster Starter Pack does that same thing there too. And if you already back the Kickstarter, then you get a little upgrade, you know what I'm saying? Throw in some Nettle Dice, throw in some action trackers, throw in another book, whatever I got for you. So appreciate you guys. My Landris, having more conditions / actions that interrupt sustain would make a gamble to sustain more than 1 or 2 spells, since you would have to drop them all at once. Yeah, very true, Melandris. Thank you for the first time super chat. Yeah, you are playing. That's a very true point. I did not think of that. You are playing a risky game if you are maintaining concentration on like 3 spells, and all someone has to do is like daze you or do whatever, and you lost it, right? So that's an interesting concept there. But I definitely want there to be counter ways to be able to stop the sustain. I do not want it to be like, I sustain it for forever, and there's no counterplay. You know what I'm saying? I love the counterplay because another thing that can happen, if you guys don't realize this too, is if a creature tries to daze you and they try and daze you, and then you have to make a save against being dazed, right? You can spend action points to give yourself advantage on that save if you're trying to protect some spells that you want to keep up. But then you have to spend action points to maintain. I love it. I absolutely love the action economy balance. Vapora Light, I may be forgetting, did you announce the 0.9 dates? Yes. January, February, March 17th, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. March 17th. So next Monday. Got you guys. So that is it. And now we do the giveaway. Here we go. And I see all the somethings in the chat. Winner. Let's see who we got. And the winner is, drum roll with the Nightbot, Army of Bunnies. An army of bunnies won the giveaway. That is so awesome that an entire army of bunnies now gets to play DC20. I don't know with their little paws. I don't know if they have they don't have thumbs, so they're gonna have to hopefully press the buttons really carefully. All of them working together, all the entire army of bunnies working together. Another familiar face. Thank you, Army of Bunnies. There you go. Message a moderator on Discord. Go to Discord. You're already on Discord. Talk to a moderator, and we'll get you hooked up with something or other. You know what I'm saying? Lots of stuff. And if you already have it, and if you already did all the stuff, we can give you some early access to some early stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then One-Eyed Reaper. What? Can't be there. First time super chat. What? Can there also be a new dynamic attack save so that non-casters that want to force a caster to cancel their concentration is able to do so? There absolutely is. And that's kind of like what Daze would be doing in some ways, right? And there absolutely could be like a spell counter type of thing where you can spend action points to trigger a save against them and stuff like that. So yeah, there's absolutely going to be plays and counter plays to this whole concentration and sustaining thing, and I think that's part of it. I think that's part of it, to be able to stop it and be able to fight off these strong sustained effects. You know, Bless so strong, Spirit Guardian so strong, all these spells so strong. But if we can figure out this better way to do things, I think it's gonna be fun on both ends of being able to try and keep your spell going, and then they do and you succeed. And they're trying to stop you. They're trying to stop you from sustaining it, but you keep sustaining it. Let's go, right? So there's the stream. Went a little bit past overtime, but that's awesome. We had lots of stuff to talk about. Next live stream, armor rework, shield rework, defenses rework, physical defense, mystical defense are gone. There are no more. And they're replaced with 2 new defenses. What are they? We'll talk about it next time, because there's definitely no time to talk about it right now. You know what I'm saying? Guard weapons are still a thing. Don't worry, Daryl. Anyway, love you guys. Stay creative. Things in the box. Peace.